Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. Glad to be back. I was out of town for a few days on Thanksgiving break to visit family. Hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving yourselves, but I'm back and I'm ready to get to work. A lot of news to talk about today. First and foremost, the new landing on Mars, which has just occurred successfully, and we'll get more to that here in just a second. But I wanted to start out this video by showing you a video clip, that even in the sort of die-hard UFO research community has rarely been seen, and it takes place at a time more in the mid-1990s, before NASA really knew what was up there near the International Space Station, nor did they hone their skills at that time to cut the feed when strange objects appeared near these cameras up there in space. And so in this new rare clip, we actually have a shot of the NASA control room or control center where they're monitoring the cameras on all of these big screen TVs, and just like in all of the ISS UFO videos I've shown you where strange things are captured from those cameras that are already up there in space, there have been instances like you'll see here, and where, well, people didn't really seem to know what had happened until it was too late. So without further ado, here is that clip, mid-90s, of the NASA control room anomaly.
Good question, Ron, and it is called out in the new
Okay, so again, this is the control room. When we talk about UFOs being captured on the cameras attached to the space station, we've watched the rate and the speed with which NASA and its controllers have been able to cut said feed whenever a strange object, or really just anything strange, pops up onto the camera feed, and they've really honed that, cutting the feed almost instantly these days so that you can't see what's going on out there. But back in these days, back in the early mid-90s, and before we had much of an internet, they didn't really have a dedicated feed cutter, if you will, and so many more mistakes had happened as it pertained to strange UFOs being caught on camera and then mistakenly publicly broadcast to the masses, or to whoever was watching that day. So we have this NASA control center here. People look like they're in their own little world, when just as the footage begins, we can see what appears to be a strange white circular or disc-shaped object slowly floating through space. And just seconds later, the object starts to dart in the opposite direction before heading out of the screen. And notice how nobody really seems to be paying attention to what's happening right in front of them, and it's at that moment that suddenly we get a quick camera angle change, taking us away from the screens, but just long enough so they can switch back to the original camera feed, showing all three screens here, but with the live space feed where the UFO appeared completely erased and edited out, and now showing and been replaced with a what appears to be an animation or a simple image of Earth. So some people say this was the very first time that NASA actually had practice in cutting the feed, and is what led to them now cutting it with much more speed and focus. Really interesting clip. Tell me what you guys think down below, but yeah, just wanted to show you a blast from the past. And certainly if I can find more like this, rest assured they will be posted in future videos. So now let's get to probably the biggest story that's been online today, and that is the successful landing of NASA's InSight lander, which has now touched down on Mars after nearly 7 months traveling through space. Landed, then sent its official beep to NASA to signal that it was alive and well, and included a first photo from the Martian surface where it landed, and you are looking at that photo here. In all of its, well, meh, glory. I mean, you can't really see much, It looks the same as the billion other Martian photos that we've seen over the years, only this one's much dirtier, covered in sand and dust and rocks. And well, maybe we'll get more images, but if you haven't heard about this, it's called the InSight lander, and the purpose of the probe was so that it could explore a part of Mars that we know the least about, its deep interior, what is inside, what is underground. And it'll be spending 2 years investigating the interior, where the building blocks below the planet's surface record its history. Here you're seeing another photograph taken by the lander at around 4,700 miles away, where we can see Mars in the background, part of the probe here to the right, where it then parachuted and using retro rockets slowed its descent through the atmosphere, opened its legs, and absorbed the shock of touching down on the surface. And so very soon, they are going to start drilling deep down as far as they can go into the Martian dirt, and, well, see what's under there. And who knows what they find. If they find something really cool, you can probably bet they're not going to disclose it to us because it's NASA, and NASA is never a straight answer. And that's true, it's been true for years now. So if it's going to be a cool finding, your best bet you're not going to hear about it. And another sort of qualm I have about this is that, well, I'm kind of getting bored with planet Mars, aren't you guys? I mean, we already have 1 billion photographs, we have millions of video, we have multiple missions that have already landed on various parts of Mars, we have orbiters still circling it, still snapping satellite images. And while I do agree it's a very interesting planet, why not, for once, send a lander to one of the other planets, some closer, some further away, but that would definitely give us a new look at an alien world that has never been investigated before. Places like Mercury, places like Venus. How about Phobos, the moon of Mars, where there's said to be a strange megalith sitting on its surface? Why not Europa, where it's said that there is a warm, saltwater ocean underneath that very well could, at this moment, be holding alien life? And lastly, my personal favorite, why not go to Titan, the orangey haze-covered moon of planet Jupiter that, although being as far away from Earth as it is one of the only other objects in the entire solar system to have so many things in common with itself and planet Earth, from atmospheres, weather systems, lakes, rivers, and oceans down on its surface. And yet, here we are once again back at planet Mars. So, it's just, in my opinion, that I'm getting a little bored with Mars. Not the study of the strange things on it, but these wastes of tax dollars to go to the same place we've been to over and over. But tell me what you guys think. That's just my rant. So now, getting into some strange video captures in the sky, UFOs, and with that we start with a video that was captured out of a window of an airliner that was flying near and above Rhode Island when they noticed a red, strange sphere that had been tagging along with the plane. Now, you'll have to forgive me, this footage was taken on a camera where it was converted to a 3G file, which, if you don't know, this was an older phone, so it's much more pixelated, but you'll get the idea. So here is that clip of the strange glowing red orb. Alright, so here is a freeze frame of the object. Seemed to be tagging along with this Delta flight. Zoom in a little bit further, and it's certainly something. It almost looks more oval to me than circular. It's not a perfect circle. Possible a disc shape? I don't know. It's very fat though, so it's strange. We'll put it that way. And so yeah, this is all we have. Sorry again for the low-res video of it. Some people have been using phones that they've had for 10 years or more. You know, you gotta upgrade, guys. You gotta. Now, speaking of other strange things up in the sky, here we have a clip that was posted to Facebook with one title that I think had read something along the lines of, "Why is this creepy chemtrail underneath these clouds?" And so, well, here is that video first, and we'll talk more in just a minute.
This is not made up. It's Friday. Not exactly sure what this is. It is... looks like a ring. I don't know what it is. So weird.
I see it moving, so it must be a jet.
I've never seen a jet do that. Huh, son? This is to show everybody this is real. Not sure what this is.
It's a head plane. See, it's moving? Yeah, it's a head plane. That's cool. And that's a bag. A turtle. I mean, that's a snake. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Can I do fun? What?
First and foremost, it is a really cool piece of footage. It's very interesting because it appears we have, you know, a wall of cloud cover. And then below that, right below it, almost where it's casting a shadow on it, we have what appears to be a contrail. Now, some of you may want to call it a chemtrail, but just for the sake of correctly calling this what it likely is, let's stick with contrail, which is the exhaust and smoke coming out of the jetliner that you saw coming out of the end at the end of the video. So this is coming from a plane. It's creating a very strange display. With the cloud cover, the yellow light reflecting it, the fact that it's almost perfectly right underneath this cloud ceiling up here. And others have pointed out as well that if you look at this contrail toward the end here, it looks like it made some pretty sudden directional changes, where I guess you could see it going straight and then suddenly changing direction and going another direction for a second and then whipping back and going into another direction in a very straight line, which has caused some to believe that, well, it's just strange. How can an aircraft do this, take such sharp angles here? So that was one comment I read on that video, but in my opinion, it's just a really cool contrail being put out underneath this wall of clouds. The two together created just a really cool display that obviously had a few people up in arms and spooked by it, but nothing to be spooked over. Just something really cool, in my opinion, that was captured. Another strange object, this time captured above California, of a strange object falling from the sky with what appeared to be a bright trail behind it, coming off of it, almost like you would think of a meteorite coming in, where suddenly they branch off into other objects and change path. So check this out to get a better understanding.
Hey, dude. No shooting star burns that long.
Yeah, it does.
If it shot through the damn atmosphere, look at it just stop.
It just stopped? What? What?
Is that?
Oh my god.
Now let's go to the side. No, it is. Bro.
Holy shit. Do I hear? Is that an engine?
I don't think an engine. But there's a plane. There's two of them.
I don't know one above it, bro.
There's two of them.
We get invaded. We get invaded.
Listen.
There's
Is that one right here?
So really strange stuff, guys. A streaming object with a tail comes down, then appears to come to a complete stop and just sits there static in the sky before finally disappearing behind some trees. What more can I say about it? So any of you over California, try to get some footage of it and send it in, all right? Now, one other real quick clip before we go, I decided I wanted to show you guys was something very strange that occurred up in the daytime skies in an area above Arizona where it almost appears as if there is some sort of dark but large object up in the clouds that kind of pops out here and there, goes back in, and is doing something. That's all I can say. So check out the clip. Okay, so, yeah, I don't know, guys. We see something coming out of the left side of the cloud, looks sort of round at one point, then square in another. Then it comes all the way out and looks almost like a line or a wing of something, comes across, goes into another part of the clouds, and disappears. And then for the rest of the video, we have just sort of zooming in and out on different parts of the clouds where it seems in certain areas you may see the sort of darkened shadow of this object within the cloud, sort of hiding there within. And, well, you'll have to watch it a few different times because each time you may catch something that you didn't see the first time, but what we can say is there's some strange movement happening up in these clouds. So, have any of you guys seen something like that? Put it down below. I'd really love to hear it. And with that, that is all I have for you guys today. I'm still in talks with Mr. Bob Lazar and Jeremy Corbell. We are very excited for this upcoming interview that will likely come on December 3rd for the release of the film. If you want to know more, check the video at the end of this video where I broke the news about the film release and exclusive interview with Secureteam. And just a reminder, because it's getting cold out, I have been seeing a surge in people ordering from the Secureteam merch shop. It's getting very cold out. I've got my hoodie on the way, as does my family, and yeah, a lot of people are checking in, so if you guys haven't yet, stop by the shop, link is down in the description, head over, we've got hoodies, long sleeve shirts, tees, Christmas ornaments, you name it. Your support has always been appreciated, and it goes right back into this channel so we can continue this search that we love, and that's what we're going to do. So, thanks again, guys. Stay right here with Secureteam. Check back daily, and I will see you all in just a bit.